Hey everybody, my name is Ian Brown. I'm an assistant director at Angelo State University Recreation with Outdoor Adventures. I'm just trying to provide a quick tutorial on a new tool that we've created here with Reed Jackson and Dan Robertson and Dr. Bradley Petty. When they were going to the National NERSA conference for the national championship for flag football, they were talking about the pain of using paper evaluations and how they wanted to provide instantaneous feedback to all of the officials and the crews and make sound decisions based upon real-time data. And so I was telling them the benefits of a Google form and how a spreadsheet would automate that process for them. So we've been taking that and running with it, and we're trying to tweak the flag football evaluation process. But right now, I also went ahead and created a intramural basketball evaluation tools so that we could stay in step with the season. So the tutorial is going to cover this new tool that we've created for basketball. You'll also have access to the flag football one, but keep in mind that that one's still in progress. I'll put a link to this folder here shortly in the bottom of the YouTube video, so you'll have access to the sample folder. Also keep in mind that you will only be able to view the data and kind of look at different things, but you will not be able to edit it. We're keeping this as a viewable only, so that you'll have to make a copy for your local institution. Also keep in mind that we're using Google Apps to process this and to make this happen. So you'll need to have either a Google Apps for Education account or a free Google Apps account to make this work at your institution. And you might reach out to your local IT department and see what their policies are regarding access to Google Apps. Since we have Google Apps for Education here, we're kind of set up so they allow us to create forms and to store these things locally and to share. So we have that permission here and a good relationship with our IT department, thankfully. So without further ado, let me put this out of the way and I'll show you. This is what the link will take you to, is just a sample folder. You can see here, this is my personal email account, and so this is what it would look like if I just clicked on that link, or if I copy and pasted it into a browser. You'll want to hit Add to Drive and then hit Open in Drive, and it will start to look a little bit more normal for you. You'll notice that there are two purple files and two green files. The purple indicates that it's the evaluation form, the Google form. This is what you'll send out to all of your student supervisors who are evaluating your officials, or you can leave it with your graduate assistant and the professional level. The great thing is, when we hand this tool over to you, ultimately you'll decide who gets access to what and who can see what. So we'll go ahead and show you the basketball evaluation form. Is really simple. You can spice this up if you like to. This is really just trying to get this tool in your hands as quickly as possible. You can see here you would choose from an evaluator, who you are when you're evaluating. You'd select your name, put in the game date, game time, court, division, intensity level. You would select the official that you're evaluating. In this case, there's only one position for basketball, referee. You could add in additional positions if you wanted to. Really, this is up to you. So let's say you have a scorekeeper or a clock person on the sidelines, and you want to hold them accountable, or you want to start creating data on those individual performances. That would be a good position to add in that case. And then here is really the meat of the evaluation, which is a Likert scale from 5 to 1, or from excellent to poor. And this is the you could change your row headers around if you wanted to. You can change the order if you wanted to. You can change what it's evaluating them on, and that kind of thing. but really this is kind of a good start, is what we thought. Right here, this overall officiating comment. So this is a good thing for your student supervisors or for the evaluator to type a narrative in and give direct feedback to the official that they can receive. Or down here on the other end of the spectrum, let's say your evaluator wants the program administrator to know some confidential information about how they're performing. This is a separate line or text box that's really good for that. You'll see when they submit that they'll have the option to submit again. So I'll just quickly do a quick rundown. Let's start adding in some variety here. Alright, so when I click submit, I have the option to submit another response. What's great about Google Forms is that you can pretty much access this on any internet-enabled device. So you could access this on a laptop, on a desktop, on a tablet, whether it's Android or iOS. It's really easy. The other good thing is that you can limit who has access to submit an evaluation. So let's say you have a Google Apps for Education account. You can make it so that they have to have a certain email address and password to get into this form. For the most part, we try and simplify that process and we only send out the link to the people that we want to submit form responses, and it works pretty well. Once your local user has the link to access this form, let's say for example on their smartphone, they can add, since it's a browsing window, they can add that window to their home screen, whether it's on an Android or iOS device. And there are several videos out there to show you how to do that. But it's great because it looks like an app on your home screen, and you're just clicking that and filling this out rapidly. That's the other thing to keep in mind, is that what's great about this is that you just want to keep it really simple. Try and collect as much data as you can and as quickly as you can. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the form. Let me just quickly show you what does that look like on the back end. Well, this is what it's going to look like whenever the administrator is in looking at the responses. They can go in here and look at all of the responses right here. So you can count the responses -1 for the first row. And then the real tool that we want to show you here is this tab right here. So the officials tab right here kind of really shows you individual performance out there. And so you can click from a drop down and select the officials that have been select from a list of officials that have been evaluated, and right here you're getting some summary data, and down here you're getting the detailed data. Remember that narrative question that I was telling you about. Again, this is direct feedback that you can present right away to that official, and the more private comments are not shared here. So the drop-down list for choosing the official is going to be created. It's called data validation, and it's created based upon the list of officials right here. And you can see I just am pulling all of the unique lists of officials that are on the response spreadsheet. So you could see here again that this overall score is based upon or calculated upon the total averages right here. So when these averages change, this will update all real time. That's the great thing about this. So let's say if I wanted to not be real time anymore, you can just print. You can save this as a PDF if you wanted to, or you could print it. However you want to hand this data, if you do even in fact want to hand this data over to your officials, this would be a good resource to do that. You can see down here that this is all basically just a query that we put in, and so it's querying the data that's found in this. So it's all real time. If someone were to submit a response right now, we'd see it pop up and go over into here. So overall formatting is definitely okay to change around with. You can change this tool around to however you see fit. I think once you get the basic premise of how this works, then you'll have a greater understanding. The big thing here is that you don't, when I was telling you earlier that with the grid questions, that you have the ability to change the order around or anything like that, just know that that's actually going to change around this right here. And so the numbers would be going to the wrong column. So that requires some additional formatting as far as selecting which column is in which order. And that one's pretty important. So it's something to think about, and that would require a lot of additional work if you wanted to change that around. But for the most part, we've tried to simplify this so that it's just a good tool to get in y'all's hands. One thing I do like to do is I just cover up this formula by going to the Q column and changing the text color to white. And so whenever I do go to print, I just highlight the text all the way over to O column or to the N column, and highlight all of the records that we have on file, so that way I'm not including that Q column. So this is great because it helps you provide detailed reports on your officials, and I think if there are particular items that you're looking to or feedback that you're trying to give directly to your official, this is a great tool and resource for them. But as a program administrator, all too often we have games going on when we're not there, and we want to make sure that our quality and expectations are being met. And so the second part is actually a really good resource for that, because if you go down to the evaluators tab, you can now see how all of your student supervisors, that next echelon in your org chart, how they are evaluating and providing feedback for your frontline workers, for your officials. And so this is a good metric to see how hard your student supervisors are working, how well they're doing with providing feedback and taking corrective measures. I would think that you could link this up even with an incident report. Let's say you had a fight on a court or something like that, and it was with a certain official that you knew was on that court, or let's say you knew the time frame in which it happened. You could go back to this data, to the timestamp, and start figuring out maybe why it happened. How is that official doing with the game management? Were your evaluators present, and were they evaluating the officials near that court? So this really starts to kind of look at the whole picture. And then ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is give everyone a resource here to look at the bigger picture. I think one good thing that might stem from this in the future is perhaps developing student learning outcomes tied to providing feedback and receiving feedback, and you have empirical data here to support your learning outcomes and to further research any other ideas that you might have about that. Okay, so those were the actual files, and so to simply do this on your own, all you have to do is right click on this and then hit make a copy, and that is one that you can update on your own. Same thing in this one, update, make a copy, and then you're good to go. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and I'm sure this is going to stir up a lot.